Hello, my gorgeous, beautiful women, powerful women. I'm back. Surprise. Oh, doing an interview today, you guys, on the power of community with Karen Sarmento. So, you've heard the intro a few times. If you've been watching the interviews, no, it's not a test. You're fine. But I'm going to read at least my channeled version of the intro again because I like to set the scene and allow us to drop in and really give time to appreciate and honor the community that's around us and the people in our lives that hold us while we're holding everything else together, right? Like, I don't want to think of the woman I would be without my sisterhood. And I have different variations of sisterhood that I talked about in my interview. So just remember the importance of community as sisterhood being the survival guide to life. Your children is one element, your spouses or equivalent is another element, people at work. These things come and go in your life, and even friends. But what would have happened to you in a certain chapter if you lived it without that one person who was your rock, or that unexpected person who came out of the woodwork and showed up for you? So we're amplifying the power of community and smashing the paradigm of the lone wolf. There are a lot of business owners out there who are like, we built it on our own merit as an individual. That's not the kind of business I'm building, and that's not the kind of business I'm going to encourage others to build. Because when we team up with each other, there's just so much more abundance available. It's collaboration, it's not competition, and we hold each other in the spaces in between of the growth. Like if you were working out by yourself and doing a wall squat for 45 seconds, 20 seconds the burn is happening, 30 seconds you want to quit. And if you're by yourself, you could very easily just go, well, I'm just going to stop and pop off the wall. But if your trainer is there, you're accountable to them and you're going to stare in their eyes and they're going to hold you through it. And that's such the beautiful power of community. So Karen's going to share with us her community. And first, I'm just going to brag about her a little because I love her to bits and pieces. And she's awesome. And she's got a very powerful bio. So she's a dynamic nurse practitioner, a self-image architect, and the CEO, baby, of Sarmento Mentoring Services, where she helps high-achieving women redefine success from the inside out. Now, she is a product of this work. So she's not just teaching it, she is becoming through it and putting herself through it first. She has over 20 years of clinical experience and a deep understanding of self-image psychology. She guides accomplished women who appear successful on the outside but feel unfulfilled on the inside to reconnect with their true selves so that they can unlock their confidence and design lives they truly love. She hosts a podcast called We Are Meant for More, where she brings raw honesty and transformational insight to conversations about self worth, self image, and soul aligned success, which we were rambling on about before we hit record.
Yeah.
And I could go on and on, but I highly encourage you to follow along with Karen and see how she's leading herself in her business, and be inspired by the way that she's showing up in the action she's taking. So, Karen, I love hanging out with you, and I'm excited to interview you today and talk about your community. You're going to take me deeper into your world. Our first question has to do with the circle around you. So when you think about your community, who are the friends, families, coworkers, if they apply, mentors, the different circles of people in your life, and what makes them important to you?
Oh gosh, it's such a good question because you mentioned the lone wolf
Mm,
scenario, and I would have described myself as that maybe 10 years ago. Um, but the more I got into this work, I realized you can't do it alone. You
mhm,
just, I don't know. So I do have different circles, and it's funny. I have my family, and it's like when you leave company of your whichever circle you feel invigorated, you feel supported, you feel like you're refueled. It's kind of a give and take, but there's just nothing like it. I have my girlfriends, I have my boyfriend, I have, of course, my son is my world. He fits into anywhere in those circles,
Well,
in those circles. Um, but the circle is so important. It's it kind of always grounds you no matter what's going on. When you try to handle it alone, it's much heavier. It's like it stays stuck. But when it
mhm,
gets put out on the table, whichever circle it comes out to,
mhm.
it just feels so much lighter and it doesn't even feel like as big of a deal when you work through it together. Um, and vice versa, when you can help somebody else in the circle go
Yeah,
through their things, it's that feels nice too. And then, of course, mentorship. I'll never be without a mentor, somebody that can help me see my blind spots.
yeah,
Because I can remember there's times when I would see things one way and you just don't even realize there's another way of doing something.
yeah.
So the circle is just so important.
I love what you said about sort of whichever one it comes out to, right? So it's not necessarily like you only use the good china on Sundays or anniversaries. Sometimes you just end up with whichever group or person that is a good fit for what you're going through. And I love that because it's like freedom to be in your community and seek out your needs, whatever they are at a given time.
Yes. And you know what I think is an important thing about your circle as you go through different stages of your life or as life goes on, some
Mhm,
people may fall out of your circle.
mhm,
And that's okay too, to let people fall out of your life because they come in and sometimes you outgrow somebody. Sometimes, maybe you've learned from each other and drift away. And
mhm.
that's okay too. It doesn't have to be a traumatic falling out, but just acknowledging that some people may come and go from your life and your circle.
Yeah, yeah, and that you're one of those people to somebody else too,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
okay.
that's it's natural evolution.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with that being said, then we move into the second question of being supported. um, somebody who was maybe a prominent role in our lives at one stage may not be. So, how do we continue to seek and receive support? Because we're great at supporting others, but not always great at supporting ourselves. And you even said, I used to be a lone wolf. And, maybe even with this, we can leverage off of how that shifted for you because clearly you've since learned how to allow support and the difference it's made in your life, like a before and after. And what would have the last few years been like, or a certain period of life, if you didn't have some of that in place?
Oh my gosh, major changes over the years because of mentorship and then letting people into my life.
Mm,
So, yes, having a mentor really just helped keep my life moving forward and not staying stuck. And had I not hired my first mentor, I don't know where I'd be. I'm not sure.
mhm,
But I know that my life has gradually changed so much over the last 8 to 10 years, but even particularly in the last year, it just continues to change. And I love that. But allowing support is so important. And people want to support you, just like yes, women, we want to support everybody. And uh, always, I think they used to say women, they eat their young and I don't know. I just don't feel like I attract that in my life because I don't feel that way. So,
mm,
um, I also think supporting, um, allowing support, other people can see in you sometimes what you can't see in yourself.
yeah,
Just like I see things in you that maybe you don't see. You can see like beautiful qualities in somebody that they don't see in themselves. And it's important for people to hear that.
yeah, yeah,
Have
very,
you met
very
people
much.
that you look at and you just think they're so amazing, but they don't see it?
Yeah. Yeah, we get so stuck in our own bias and our
Hmm.
own limiting beliefs and scarcity, right? Which is like such a huge piece of why receiving support includes working through that and feeling safe in that, really being witnessed, and then being willing to accept um, how what's mirrored back to you, which is a beautiful segue to the next question because it's all about community as a mirror. So we all want to give support in that. Like I am the Saint Bernard saving people on the mountain, right? I just want to help everybody. But even,
You though, you are like
I
that.
know, it's like,
I
ah,
just love your
but
pieces.
even that dog then will come home to where, his home, their home, and receive water and a warm bed and food, right?
Hmm.
And so as a community builder, like what I now am open to receiving helps me hold the space and like improves my capacity, the strength of my capacity, right? Because people are giving back to me, people are pouring back into me. And if I were just constantly outputting, it would be depleting. But now it's a very reciprocal cycle, which is the next
Hmm.
question. So, anyway, it's just beautiful what you said about people being able to show you what you really, you guys, stubbornly refuse to see about yourself.
Hmm. Yes, you're amazing, and that's just that's all there is to it.
Get over yourself, bub. You're awesome.
Yeah.
Right? Like, no, I'm not.
I know, to be able to look
Okay.
in the mirror. I look awesome today. I love it. I like this outfit on me. This is good.
So, Karen, who maybe thinking of in your community some key players that helped reflect back to you who you're becoming? Was it the people closest to you who taught you more about yourself? Are you surprised by the people that you feel the most seen or understood by? Do different versions of you come out depending who you're hanging around? And what are you learning about yourself as, your different characteristics appear in different places?
So I notice it's definitely the people that are closest to me. I have a close set of girlfriends, and I have my family who I'm so close to. And my boyfriend and my son, obviously, they fall into that family category. But I'm so blessed because we're all so supportive of one another. My girlfriends, we're all busy, so you don't get to see each other all the time, but we make a point of getting to dinner at least like maybe once a month, once every 6 months. But boy, when we get together, it's like, where's everybody at? What's going on? And oh my gosh, just it's so fulfilling and supportive. And that's the same with my family, although I see them all the time. But it's such a supportive, encouraging environment. And I wouldn't allow anything but that into my life anymore because anything that's not supportive or doesn't feel good to me, I've learned to have those boundaries
Mhm.
that what drains me to the best of my ability gets eliminated from my life, and it's my good energy is reserved for my work that I do, for the people that I love.
Mhm.
And I think it's important, and it's good to know that you can set boundaries for yourself so your community looks the way you want it to look. Yeah.
That's it, you guys.
I
That's the
know,
whole
doesn't that
summit
feel
right
good?
there. It's the whole summit right there. That is beautiful. Lean into that for a moment, guys. And Karen, like, wow, to have a clean community,
Look,
right? A community that has your best interest in mind and vice versa, and being really intentional about accepting support from a good place, not just because it's like dutiful or required or expected. That's a power move, Karen. That is a very big revelation of intentional stewardship over what surrounds you and what you want to be around, right? That it's a mutually beneficial, healthy relationship. I love that.
Yes. And a community that'll grow with you, um, encouraging your growth, you're encouraging theirs,
Yes.
not keeping each other stuck.
Amazing. Amazing, you guys. Think about that in your day to day. Think about what Karen just said, those 2 points, a community that's going to grow with you and a community that has boundaries led by yourself, and start to see that new lens with the people you're hanging out and see if things shift.
Yes, because have you ever been in a situation where people know you as the person you were maybe six,
Yeah.
7, 8 years ago,
Oh, yeah.
and you're not that person anymore. So
Hmm.
you have to be careful to not go
Hmm.
back to just because you're in that community. Now I'll go back to being that person.
Yeah.
And then the authenticity is gone, and then you're not being true to yourself, and yeah, go backwards. So you
Yeah.
get to design the company you keep.
Yeah. Yeah. Say that again.
You get to design the company that you keep. Yep. Your community by design.
So good. Which leads in beautifully then to reciprocity, right? So you're setting these intentions, you're setting these levels of awareness. And I think the big piece here too is your own freedom to be all of Karen and to be in safe places to be her, giving out to family, to work, and to your dreams. What kind of community builder are you then in giving back to those people? And how does that look for you in the day to day?
Yeah. The day to day, I think it's just the way I carry I love to be of service. I just
Mhm.
love to go about my day with that. It's not gonna, it's just who I am, I think by nature. So wherever I'm going, what if it's to the grocery store or to get my coffee or to be with family, friends, or meeting with a client, it's just that mentality of being present and that just being of service, even if it's talking with the person in line at the grocery store or recognizing somebody's off or having a bad day or
Mhm.
just being there, being open to whatever's coming or whatever's needed in the moment.
Yeah, there's a simplicity, a beautiful simplicity to that because you just never know who you're going to meet
Hmm.
and what it could lead to.
Have you had those encounters where you really feel like you changed the course of somebody's day just by an interaction with the clerk at the grocery store or um, just recognizing them or acknowledging somebody who's there. And
I think it was Jackie said, there's a woman at Costco and she just loves her smile. And one day, Jackie just felt compelled to tell her that after she'd checked her receipt. And the woman cracked. It was exactly what she needed that day. She needed that being seen. It wasn't like um, an aesthetic thing. It was like seeing her spirit, right? Really seeing that
Mhm.
woman. And for me at work and other places, like my colleagues at work are my friends, and we chat about the heart so much. And I joke about, like, I love it when I can make someone cry. Mel and I were talking about this. We're like, is it weird that we like to make people cry? But it's like good crying. But
Oh, yeah.
there's moments I'll share, like this older lady came into work, and if you guys don't know, I do bylaw complaints. So when neighbors complain about each other, and this woman came in and she's having difficulty over the property line with her neighbor. They're very, very close houses. And it's, she was holding so much. She's holding so much in her life, near 80 years of age. And this was like
Mm.
an extra irritation that didn't need to be there. And we went and sat in a quiet corner. And I was so present with her, even though it was way beyond the authority of my role. And I gave her time. And then she was able to crack and to let go of everything that she was holding. And she cried with like the weight of it all cracking, and falling off. And I got to hug her. And
Oh,
and we may never see each other again, right? But in that moment, yeah, did I change the trajectory of her life? Maybe. But in that day, I helped her receive something that she so deeply needed.
wow.
So,
How blessed was she to have received you that day?
and
Wow.
that's what you're saying. Like, we, what I hear from that is we give back because it feeds us. And then we don't know what that ripple effect is going to be, but there's more than likely a return on investment about that somewhere. And I think the big picture, if we don't just think about ourselves and our bank account, is the big picture is the ripple effect of the kind of um, humanity and compassion that we impart into the world where people are so self-focused in ways that we just never have been, where we tend to, not connect with each other on a more personal level, the way that before technology perhaps happened. And it was easier to now it's kind of easier to avoid each other in some ways. But anyway, yeah, that human touch is, and it's not like I was necessarily doing that to get anything out of it. It was just meeting her where she was at so that she could get something out of it.
Yes. No, that's exactly what I'm talking about. That's because that's who you are, and it's showing up and being present in those simple moments. That type of service is amazing too. It can be on that level. But when you kind of walk through the world in a way that you're just of service and you're open to what comes your way, as you mentioned, the ripple effect of the difference you can make in somebody's day.
Yeah, it's it like relaxes any attachment, which I think we were talking about in the preamble or
Mhm.
before we hit record. I don't know why I say preamble. Fancy like that. I'm not. um, of like, what kind of person do you want to be? And are you going to have selfish attachment to everything? Like everything you do has got to be about you getting something back? Or is it going to be about really being proud and clean around the kind of person you're being,
Mhm.
regardless of the situation?
Absolutely. And also, when you meet somebody or you encounter somebody that doesn't match your energy and feels off, like people are going through stuff, but people innately, I think people are good. So
Mhm.
when they're, yeah, when people are off, you just never quite know what they're going through.
So this ties in beautifully to the last question. You've made it. The exam is almost
Here
over.
we are.
As to why we need each other. And so, Karen, what would you say at the heart of it all, as to why you believe that community is necessary for women, especially the everyday woman, to thrive?
I think community is important because it helps us to continuously show up and to go through the good and the bad with support, and also to give support, which fuels us equally.
Mhm.
And I think community, it just helps us see the best in ourselves. We can help each other see the greatness in them as well. And I think community is just, it's really at the end of the day what matters.
Yeah, yeah,
Growing and supporting and laughing and loving and crying.
yeah,
It's all of it. It's everything.
yeah,
So no matter what you're going through, having the community, the circle, the people. that you give to, that you receive from. That's life. That's the whole purpose for being here in my eyes. There's nothing more important.
right? Like I I'm trying to think of an analogy. And so if we look at all of life on Earth, I think only a rock is like an innate object that doesn't rely on anything else. But a rock must be formed by the compression of Earth in order to harden. So even it would need connection to something else in order to become what it is. So you may, if you are a stubborn but beautiful woman who's like, I don't need nobody, I'm talking to you, that it's inescapable. And if you can open up your heart to it, it is, as you said, like it's everything. It's a beautiful, richer experience.
Yes, and sometimes letting people in can be hard. That's something that I guess people kind of earn their way in as you can open your heart, but sometimes it's hard to let people in.
Mhm.
Sometimes there's a worthiness issue about it. You don't feel worthy of other people's time or energy, or you don't feel worthy of other people's help, but you are worthy and they want to help. So yeah, it's a give and take, and sometimes it's a process to learn to let people in.
Yeah, yeah. So be willing to do that. So
Mm.
the closing script here, guys, takes this home because at Powerful Link, we don't just consume. I make you guys work. Everything is workshoppy. You have to integrate. You can't, this isn't like, just a movie that you're going to watch and move on from. So in closing, and I want you to take this as an invitation to look at your own circle with gratitude and ask yourself, how can you let yourself be supported a little more? And how can you support others too in small ways? Because it's got to be a full cycle, right? It goes out and it comes back. And that's where you really get to build a beautiful, clean, um, dynamic, like growing with you community is contributing and taking back and forth. And that's how we multiply our strength and become unstoppable as a group, as a union. That was beautiful, Karen. Thank you. And we drop her socials where you can follow along with her, you guys, in her bio and with the episode. And otherwise, we can reach you on Facebook or email, follow along your podcast, anything else that you want to share for people to come more into your circle.
Yeah, no, Instagram, you can find me there
Oh,
as well, mostly there and Facebook, but
okay, perfect.
email, anything.
Okay,
This
perfect.
is so great. Thank you so much for having me and talking about this important, just this important topic of community and women, and what you're doing is amazing.
Thank you. Thanks, Karen. Thanks for joining. See you in the next one.
Thanks for having me. Absolutely.